Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, you're about to encounter someone whose strength surpasses even your own. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever felt the weight of the world resting solely on your shoulders? Despite your unwavering strength, your constant sacrifices, and your role as the cornerstone for others, there comes a time when even the mightiest falter. This story is for you, the chosen ones, who give without hesitation yet often neglect your own needs. It's a tale of transformation, divine intervention, and the beauty of connection. Stay with us as we unravel the journey of one such soul, who learns that even the strongest need someone to lean on. Will you find your own truth here? Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever felt the crushing weight of silent expectations? Like Joseph, cast into a pit by those closest to him, do you ever feel the burden of being chosen yet misunderstood? This is not just a tale of ancient times. It is the story of your life and mine, woven through the fabric of our daily struggles. The silence, the isolation, the endless giving, these are the trials of the chosen. Imagine yourself standing in the midst of a storm. The winds howl, the rain lashes against your face, and yet you remain unmoving, a pillar of strength for those around you. You are the one they turn to, the one who is expected to endure, to advise, to rescue. Your heart, though heavy, beats with love for those who depend on you. But, beloved believers, what happens when your strength wavers? When the storm grows too fierce, and your knees buckle under the weight of it all? Joseph's story reminds us that even the chosen are not immune to pain. Betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery, he must have questioned his place in God's plan. "Why me, Lord?" he might have whispered into the dark silence of his captivity. Have you, too, asked this question? Perhaps in moments of despair, when the demands on your spirit left you empty and gasping for air, you have wondered why God has placed this burden upon you. But let us pause here, beloved believers, and reflect. What if the silence is not abandonment but preparation? What if your current trials, like Joseph's, are the prelude to a divine revelation? The chosen ones of God are not forgotten but refined. The scriptures tell us, like the finest gold, you are being shaped through fire, your purpose slowly unfolding with each test of your resolve. Consider the moments of silence in your own life. Have you ever noticed how the world grows still before a storm? This silence is not empty. It is pregnant with meaning. It is a moment of divine stillness where God whispers his promises into your soul. Yet, in our humanness, we often mistake this silence for abandonment. Do you trust in the silence, beloved believers? Or does it fill you with fear? Even Christ, in his agony on the cross, cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" In that profound moment, we see the paradox of divine silence. It feels like absence, yet it is the gateway to redemption. His suffering was not in vain, and neither is yours. Can you feel this truth stirring within you? Can you believe that your trials, too, are part of a greater plan? Now, imagine a small seed buried deep in the earth. Alone, in the dark, surrounded by silence, it waits. At first, it might seem forgotten, hidden from the light. But beneath the surface, a transformation is taking place. The seed begins to crack open, its roots reaching downward as its stem pushes upward toward the sun. What appears to be a burial is, in fact, a rebirth. Beloved believers, are you like the seed, waiting in the dark for God's light to call you forth? Joseph's life offers us a roadmap for navigating these dark and silent seasons. In the pit, in the prison, even in the moments of betrayal, he held on to his faith. He trusted in the promises of God, even when they seemed impossibly distant. And when the time was right, God elevated him, placing him in a position to save not only Egypt but his very own family. So, I ask you, chosen ones of God, what will you do with your silence? Will you let it break you, or will you allow it to build you? Will you trust in God's plan, even when you cannot see the road ahead? Type "I trust" in the comments if you choose to believe that your trials are not in vain. Declare your faith in the divine revelation to come. As we close this first part of our journey, let us remember, Being chosen is not about avoiding pain but enduring it with purpose. The silence is not the end. It is the beginning. Hold fast, beloved believers, for God's promises are true, and His plans are greater than anything we can imagine. Together, let us step forward in faith, trusting that the best is yet to come. And now, I leave you with this question. What is God preparing you for in the silence? Will you embrace it as the seed embraces the soil, knowing that it is the pathway to growth? Stay with us, as the next chapter will reveal the sacred promise waiting to be fulfilled. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, do you feel the weariness that comes from carrying the weight of others on your shoulders? You pour out your strength, yet the emptiness within seems to grow. Perhaps you wonder if God sees your struggle. Let me assure you, He not only sees but is already orchestrating a divine intervention. In the stillness of your trials, He is preparing a sacred connection, a revelation that will transform your journey. Let us turn again to the story of Joseph. In the depths of his suffering, he could not have imagined the promise that awaited him. The pit was not the end of his story, nor was the prison. Each step, though painful, brought him closer to the fulfillment of God's purpose. And just as Joseph's life was guided by unseen hands, so too is yours. Can you trust that your pain has a purpose, beloved believers? Now, picture a river winding its way through a desolate valley. The waters flow tirelessly, carving a path through barren land. Over time, what was once a wasteland transforms into a lush, fertile oasis. This is the promise of God's plan for you. The barren seasons in your life are not meant to destroy you, but to prepare the ground for something greater. The sacred connection He has planned will be like rain upon your desert, a life-giving force that renews your spirit and brings forth fruit from your trials.
Lòng tin vào Chúa bê cơm do an cho in this duy ni.
Think of Christ as He walked among us, extending His hand to the weary and the burdened. His words, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest," were not mere promises but a call to trust in the divine provision. In the same way, God is preparing someone to come into your life, a person who will not only share your burdens but also remind you of your strength. But let us be clear, this connection is not about dependency. It is about balance. This person, sent by God, will not come to rescue you, for you are not helpless. Instead, they will walk beside you, their strength complementing your own. Together, you will form a partnership that reflects the harmony of God's design. Have you ever experienced such a connection, where two lives intertwine to create something greater than the sum of their parts? Consider the image of two trees standing side by side. Their roots intertwine beneath the soil, unseen but inseparable. When storms come, their shared foundation keeps them upright. This is the sacred connection that God promises to His chosen ones. It is a bond built on trust, mutual respect, and shared purpose. Can you imagine such a partnership in your life? If you long for this kind of connection, type "I believe" in the comments and declare your readiness for God's promise. Let us also draw from the story of Jesus and His disciples. When He sent them out 2 by 2, it was not by accident. He knew that even the strongest among them would face challenges too great to bear alone. The sacred promise of connection was His provision, a reminder that strength is multiplied when shared. Beloved believers, do you see how even the Son of God emphasized the power of partnership? As you wait for this divine connection, watch for the signs. God often speaks through the whispers of the world around us. It might be a chance encounter, a conversation that stirs your spirit, or an unexplainable sense of peace when you meet someone new. These are the markers of His plan unfolding. Are you open to recognizing these signs, or does doubt cloud your vision? Now let us return to Joseph. When he was finally brought before Pharaoh, it was not his strength alone that elevated him, but the culmination of every trial he had endured. His wisdom, honed in silence and suffering, became the foundation of his destiny. Likewise, the person God is preparing for you will not overshadow your strength, but will magnify it. Together, you will rise, not as Savior and saved, but as equals, united in purpose. Beloved believers, this is the sacred promise. God sees you, knows your pain, and has not forgotten you. The silence is not abandonment. It is preparation. The connection He is bringing into your life is not a mere coincidence but a divine revelation, a fulfillment of His promise to the chosen ones. Do you trust in His timing? Do you believe that what He has planned for you is greater than anything you could imagine? As we close this chapter, reflect on the promise that awaits you. Like the barren valley awaiting the rain, your heart is being prepared to receive God's gift. Open yourself to His plan, and let your faith be the bridge between the silence and the sacred promise. What signs has God placed before you? Are you ready to embrace the connection He is preparing? Stay with us, as the next part will unveil the arrival of the one sent to walk this journey with you. Together, let us continue to trust in the divine revelation unfolding in our lives. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, the silence you have endured, the trials you have faced, and the prayers whispered in the darkest hours were never in vain. Now the time has come, the time for the arrival of the one who will walk beside you, not to overshadow or rescue you, but to complete and magnify the strength God has already placed within you. Think of Joseph, beloved believers. After years of suffering and betrayal, he was not lifted to prominence by his own might alone, but through divine orchestration. Pharaoh, a stranger to Joseph, recognized the wisdom and strength within him, elevating him to a place of honor. So too will God send someone into your life, not a stranger, but a kindred spirit who sees the fullness of who you are, even the parts you have hidden away in the silence. The chosen ones of God are not meant to stand alone. The scriptures remind us. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall on a rocky shore. Its beam cuts through the storm, guiding ships safely to harbor. But the lighthouse is not self-sufficient. It needs the keeper who tends its light, ensuring it burns bright through the night. Beloved believers, who is the keeper of your light? Who has God sent to help you shine even in the fiercest storms? This person will not arrive with fanfare or grand gestures. Their presence may come as a whisper, as gentle as a spring breeze stirring the leaves. But in their quiet strength, you will find a reflection of your own resilience. They will not take from you, but will give in ways that nourish your soul. Like the sun and the moon, each with their unique light, you will complement each other, creating a balance that neither could achieve alone. Consider the story of Mary and Martha when Jesus visited their home. Martha, overwhelmed with responsibilities, busied herself, while Mary chose to sit at Jesus' feet, soaking in His presence. Jesus praised Mary, not because Martha's work was unimportant, but because Mary recognized the value of connection. Are you ready to pause and recognize the person God has sent into your life? Or will you be too consumed by the noise of daily life to see the divine gift before you? Beloved believers, this sacred connection is not about dependency. It is not about finding someone to carry your burdens while you rest. Instead, it is about finding someone who walks beside you, sharing the load, and helping you discover a strength you never knew you possessed. Their arrival will not diminish your independence. It will enhance your capacity to fulfill God's purpose for your life. Now picture two eagles soaring high in the sky. Alone, each is majestic and powerful, but together, they create a dance of grace and strength, moving as one with the currents of the wind. This is the partnership God envisions for you. A relationship where both are strong, yet together, they achieve something even greater. A harmony that reflects the beauty of divine design. But how will you know this person when they arrive? Look for the signs God has placed before you. They may come as a feeling of peace when you are with this person, a sense of alignment as if your spirits were always meant to journey together. Perhaps their presence brings out the best in you, not by demanding more, but by helping you see the greatness already within. Even Christ surrounded Himself with disciples who complemented His ministry. Each had their role, their strength, and together they carried out the will of God. Beloved believers, who has God placed in your life to share in your journey? Have you opened your heart to the possibility, or are you still trapped in the fear of trusting someone else? And yet, this connection will not be without its challenges. Just as iron sharpens iron, so too will this person challenge you to grow, to face the parts of yourself you may have been avoiding. But it is in this sharpening that you will become stronger, more refined, more aligned with God's purpose. Now, let us return to Joseph's story. When his brothers, the very ones who betrayed him, stood before him seeking help, Joseph did not act out of vengeance. Instead, he saw the bigger picture, the divine plan that had brought him to that moment. What you meant for evil, God meant for good, Joseph told them, embodying the grace and wisdom that comes from understanding God's purpose. In the same way, the one God sends into your life will help you see the bigger picture. They will not only remind you of your strength, but will also challenge you to let go of the pain and bitterness that may have taken root during your trials. Together, you will create a foundation of trust, respect, and shared purpose, a partnership that reflects the glory of God's plan. So, beloved believers, I ask you, are you ready to welcome this person into your life? Are you prepared to step into a connection that will refine and elevate you? If your heart says yes, type "I am ready" in the comments as a declaration of your faith in God's divine plan. As we close this chapter, remember this: the chosen ones of God are never truly alone. The silence you have endured was not a punishment but a preparation for this sacred connection. Trust in God's timing, open your heart to His provision, and step boldly into the partnership He has designed for you. What qualities will you look for in this person? How will you know when God has placed them in your path? Stay with us as we move forward to explore the signs of change and the transformation this sacred connection will bring. The journey is far from over, beloved believers. The best is yet to come. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, have you ever noticed how the world seems to whisper when a great change is on the horizon? The signs are subtle: a shift in energy, a coincidental encounter, a quiet stirring in your spirit. These are not random events. They are the divine fingerprints of God, signaling the transformation that is about to unfold. Think of Joseph once again. Long before his brothers bowed before him in Egypt, there were signs of his destiny. Dreams that stirred his soul, visions of a future he could scarcely understand. Though his path was fraught with betrayal and suffering, these signs were constant reminders of God's promise. What signs, beloved believers, is God placing in your life today? Are you watching, or have you allowed fear and doubt to cloud your vision? Imagine standing at the edge of a forest, the sunlight breaking through the canopy in delicate beams. The air is thick with the scent of pine, and a gentle breeze brushes against your face. You feel a sense of anticipation, as though the forest itself is alive with purpose, guiding you toward a destination you cannot yet see. This is what it feels like when God begins to move in your life, the quiet assurance that something greater is unfolding. But these signs are not always easy to recognize. They often come disguised as challenges, disruptions to the familiar rhythms of your life. A job loss, a strained relationship, an unexpected opportunity. All of these can be signs of transformation if you have the faith to see them as such. Do you trust that even in the chaos, God is leading you to something better? Consider the story of the disciples on the stormy sea. When Jesus walked toward them on the water, they were terrified, mistaking him for a ghost. It wasn't until he spoke, calming their fears, that they recognized him. How often do we, too, mistake God's intervention for something to fear? Beloved believers, I ask you, when the storms of life rage, will you recognize the signs of His presence? Or will you let fear blind you to the miracles unfolding before you? Now, let us return to the sacred connection God is preparing for you. The arrival of this person will not come without signs. Perhaps you will feel a sudden urge to step outside your comfort zone, to attend an event or engage in a conversation you might otherwise avoid. Maybe a chance meeting will spark an unexplainable sense of familiarity, as though your soul recognizes theirs. These are not coincidences. They are God's way of aligning your path with theirs. Picture two rivers converging, their waters blending to create a powerful current. Alone, each river has its own beauty, its own journey, but together, they form something greater, a force capable of carving valleys, nourishing the land, and shaping the world. This is the transformation that awaits you, Beloved believers, are you ready to embrace it? But with transformation comes the challenge of trust. To step into this new season, you must let go of the doubts and fears that have held you back. Like the Israelites standing before the Red Sea, you may feel trapped, unable to see the way forward. But remember, God did not bring them to the sea to abandon them. He brought them there to reveal His power. What Red Sea are you standing before today? And are you willing to trust God to part the waters? The signs of transformation are also internal. You may notice a shift in your own heart, a softening where there was once bitterness, a courage where there was once fear. This is the work of the Holy Spirit, preparing you to receive the blessings God has in store. Have you felt this stirring within you, beloved believers? If so, type "I feel it" in the comments and declare your readiness for transformation. Yet, transformation is not without pain. Like the butterfly emerging from its cocoon, the process of becoming requires struggle. It is through the struggle that your wings are strengthened, enabling you to soar. Do not fear the discomfort, for it is a sign that you are on the brink of something extraordinary. Let us return to Joseph one last time. When he stood before Pharaoh, interpreting dreams and offering solutions, it was clear that every trial he had faced had prepared him for that moment. His suffering had refined him, his faith had sustained him, and the signs along the way had guided him. Beloved believers, your trials too are preparing you. The signs are there, pointing you toward the destiny God has designed for you. Will you have the faith to follow them? As we close this chapter, take a moment to reflect on the signs in your own life. Are you paying attention? Are you open to the whispers of God, guiding you toward transformation? What changes are you resisting, and how might they be the very things God is using to shape your future? Beloved believers, the signs are not random. They are divine. Trust in them and trust in the God who placed them before you. Stay with us, as the final chapter will reveal the purpose of your transformation and the journey you will undertake with the one God has sent to walk beside you. Together, let us step boldly into the divine plan, knowing that the best is yet to come. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, as the signs unfold and the sacred connection is revealed, a new chapter begins. This is not merely a season of renewal, but an invitation to co-create, a partnership that transcends the ordinary and aligns with God's divine purpose. Together, you and the one He has sent will step into a journey of transformation, not only for yourselves but for the world around you. Let us imagine a field after a long, harsh winter. The earth, once hardened and lifeless, begins to stir as spring arrives. Seeds, planted in faith, break through the soil, reaching for the sun. Each sprout is a testament to the unseen work beneath the surface. Beloved believers, this is your season of blooming, your time to rise with the one God has placed beside you. Do you feel the stirring in your soul, the promise of something greater taking root within you? This sacred partnership is not a conclusion but a beginning. Like Joseph, who rose to power in Egypt and used his position to save countless lives, you are called to something far beyond yourself. The one who now walks beside you will not only share your burdens but amplify your impact. Together, you will become instruments of God's grace, creating ripples of change that extend far beyond what either of you could achieve alone. Consider the story of Christ and His disciples after the resurrection. They were not merely witnesses to a miracle. They were participants in the mission to transform the world. Each brought their unique strengths, and together they spread the message of hope and salvation to the ends of the earth. In the same way, your partnership is a divine commission. What mission has God placed on your heart, and how will you fulfill it together? Picture a symphony, each instrument adding its voice to create a masterpiece. Alone, the violin is beautiful, and the trumpet is bold, but together, they create a harmony that moves the soul. This is the power of co-creation, the blending of strengths, the weaving of talents, and the unifying of purpose to bring forth something extraordinary. Beloved believers, are you ready to join in this divine symphony? But this journey will not be without challenges. There will be moments of doubt, times when the path ahead seems unclear. Like the Israelites wandering in the desert, you may find yourselves questioning the journey. Yet, It is in these moments that your faith will be tested and strengthened. Will you hold fast to God's promises, trusting that He is leading you toward a land of abundance? The beauty of this partnership lies in its balance. While one may falter, the other will stand strong, offering support and encouragement. When doubt creeps in, the shared faith between you will be a beacon of hope. This is not a relationship of dependency, but of mutual empowerment, a reflection of God's love and design. Who in your life embodies this balance, this divine harmony? Have you thanked God for them today? As you journey together, you will begin to see the fruits of your co-creation. Perhaps it is a mission that brings healing to others, a project that inspires change, or a simple act of kindness that ripples outward. Each step, guided by faith and love, will leave an indelible mark on the world. What legacy will you and your partner leave behind? How will your journey inspire others to step into their own purpose? Let us return once more to Joseph. When his brothers stood before him, he could have chosen anger, revenge, or bitterness. Instead, he saw the hand of God in his journey. "What you meant for evil, God meant for good," he said, embodying the grace and wisdom that comes from trusting in God's plan. Beloved believers, your trials, too, are being transformed into testimonies of God's goodness. How will you use your story to glorify Him? Now imagine a flame, a single steady light that warms the room. When another flame is brought near, the two merge, creating a brighter and more powerful fire. This is what happens when God brings two souls together in His name. The light you create together will not only guide your path, but illuminate the way for others, bringing hope to those still wandering in the darkness. As we close this final chapter, take a moment to reflect on your journey. The silence, the signs, the arrival of your partner, and the transformation that follows are all part of a divine tapestry woven by God's hand. What role will you play in this masterpiece? Will you embrace your calling as a chosen one of God, stepping boldly into the future He has prepared for you? Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, your story is far from over. The trials you have endured, the strength you have discovered, and the connections you have formed are all leading you toward a purpose greater than yourself. Together, with the one He has sent, you will co-create a legacy of faith, hope, and love, a testament to the power of God's divine plan. What will you do with this calling? How will you use your gifts, your partnership, and your faith to make a difference in the world? Type "I am ready" in the comments as a declaration of your commitment to God's purpose. May your journey be filled with courage, grace, and the unwavering knowledge that you are never alone. Together, with God and the one He has placed by your side, you will rise, creating a life that reflects His glory and transforms the world around you. The best is yet to come, beloved believers. Trust in Him and step boldly into your destiny. Beloved believers, the chosen ones of God, as our journey together comes to a close, let us reflect on the profound meaning of this story. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the transformative power of faith, and the beauty of divine connection. Through the silence, the signs, the arrival of your sacred partner, and the trials that refine you, God is preparing you for something extraordinary. This is not just a story of survival, but one of co-creation, a journey of growth, love, and purpose. Like Joseph, your trials are not wasted. Like Christ, your suffering is not in vain. Every step of your journey is a thread in God's tapestry, woven with care to create a masterpiece that reflects His glory. Do you believe in the divine plan for your life? Type "I believe" in the comments as a declaration of your faith. The message is clear: you are not alone. God sees you, knows your pain, and has already placed the answers you seek along your path. Trust in His timing, embrace the connections He provides, and step boldly into the purpose He has designed for you. And now we invite you to join us in a greater mission. If this story has inspired you, if you feel the stirring of hope and faith within your heart, take the next step. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Anointed, where we share stories of transformation, faith, and inspiration every week. Like this video, leave a comment about what touched your heart, and share it with someone who might need this message today. Together, we can spread the light and encourage others to embrace their divine calling. Beloved believers, the best is yet to come. Your journey is part of a greater plan, and your faith will lead you to the promises God has prepared. Stay connected, stay faithful, and always remember, you are God's chosen one, and your story matters. What's the next step in your journey? How will you take the lessons from this story and apply them to your life? We can't wait to hear from you in the comments below. Subscribe to The Anointed, and let us continue this journey of faith, hope, and purpose together.